Hi, in this particular video, I'm going to demonstrate how to read data file if it is given to you in Excel format or is it given if it is given to you in CSV format. And also I'm going to demonstrate how to write the data in Excel format or in the CSV format. In this video, I'm also going to tell you how do you create uh, variables in the R or specifically R objects from the bigger data which is given to you. Now let us say if I want to read this particular Excel file in the R. So for that, I can use a couple of commands. I always start my code. If you have not seen the introductory video or the walkthrough videos on R, I highly recommend you to go through the playlist, whose description I will be providing in the description box here in the YouTube. I start my code with rm list equals to ls. What it essentially does is it clears the workspace over here. And to run it, hold Command and press return on Mac or hold Control and press enter on Windows system. You can also use this particular option to run this particular line. To read the file, let's say if I want to store it in R object, which is my underscore data, I'm going to write read.csv since it's a CSV file. If you look at the syntax here, it clearly says what is the file, and if there are header rows, that means the rows which contains the column name, and how are they separated, how the values are separated. So the file is this particular file, which is sample CSV. For this, I need to provide its path and the name. How can you get the path? In Mac, make sure you enable this option under Finder, go to View and enable this option, show path bar. Right now it is shown, but if you do not see this particular path bar, something like this, go to View and click on show path bar. Here the path will be shown. You can select the file, right click on the file name here and click on copy sample csv.csv as path name, and uh, single quotation marks, quotes open and close. Within that, you put this particular file name. So single quote start, single quote end, and run this particular line. And it will show you the data. And if you look here carefully, my underscore data, it shows it's a data frame. So data frame is nothing, it's an R object which stores the data in which there are multiple type of variable, let's say numeric, non-numeric. So it is storing the data into this particular R object, which is my underscore data. And it's as simple as that. Let's say if I want to create another variable x or another object, R object x, which consists of only the first column, which is age. Now I can do it in couple of ways. One is you write my underscore data and put a dollar sign and write age. Run this particular line, you will see it has created R object, which is of integer type. Another way is you write x equals to the data frame name, parenthesis, put comma. To the left hand side of the comma, you write the index of the rows, and to the right hand side of the comma, you write the index of the column. So the age is in the first space. Age is the first column. So I can just write here 1. And to differentiate, just let me change it to y. I will see it has created another variable, which is y, which is nothing but another way of storing the age into a new variable. You can use another option. You can write attach. If I just delete them, okay, if I write attach and within brackets I write my underscore data. So what this option does is it enables you to directly write the variable name and store it in some object. Suppose z equals to age. The same thing I did not to write here my underscore data like I was doing earlier on. So I directly wrote z equals to age. If I'm not using this particular line, then I would have to, I'm sorry, then I would have to write it like this, my underscore data, okay, to the left of it first, something like this. I would have to do that. So this is how you create new variables in the R or new objects. You can also create the multiple variables into a new variable. Suppose if I want to create another variable, let's say, which is CV. Okay, just a random variable name I'm just putting here, or the object name, my underscore data. And here what I want is, I want only first 50 rows. So I'm going to write 1 to 50, put column, and I want first column, third column, and fifth column. So for that, I can do something like this. C, first column, third column, and fifth column, and run it. So CV, if you see here, it has created by default the data frame. But these values were not created as a data frame, but since there are multiple type of variables in one object, so it has created them like a data frame. So this is how you do CV. Okay. Another way could be CV underscore 1. Instead of, let's say, my underscore data 1 to 50 row, I don't want to write the column numbers. I just want to write the column name. That also I can do. I can write C age. Okay, here you need not to use that attach, need not to use, because already you are telling from where you need to take the variable name. So my data age, the second variable is business travel, and the third one is the department. So business travel and double quote department, and R is R Studio is smart. It gives you certain inputs when you just write few variable name. It gives you certain prompts. So department, run it, CV underscore 1, same thing. You can create it in a different way. Suppose if you want first 5 columns, then you can use this type of indexing. My underscore data. Let's say first 100 rows now and first 5 column. Now you need not to write C. Directly you can write first to 5 column. So whenever it's a continuous number that you are giving, or continuous sequence, if you have sequence of the index, a row index or the column index, you need not to write C. You can directly write something like this and run it. I'll differentiate it by writing CV underscore 2. Okay, so CV underscore 2, first 5 variables and first 100 rows. Now suppose if I want to write the data. Now how to write the data? For that, write .csv. Look at the syntax. It says what is the object name and what is the file name. So object name here is, let's say I want to write this CV underscore 2. To write CV underscore 2, where you want to store it, let's say I want to store it in this particular folder only, which is datasets. Make sure it is single quote start and forward slash. Let's say the name of the file is write csv dot csv. Okay, and single quote close. Hit command plus enter. Go to that particular folder, write csv. Okay, so age, attrition, this particular object has been written. If what you see over here is the row index or the row names, it is like your serial number. If you do not want it in R, you can delete this particular file. You can write here row dot names and set it to false. By default, it is true. It will always give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till the size of the data is. And now if you see that particular in row name is gone. So it's your choice how you want to write the data. One thing that you have to be very careful is whenever you are putting the path name in the uh, this particular code or in R, make sure all the slashes are forward slashes. If you are using a Windows-based system, like I'm demonstrating here, if you copy the folder name from the bar here, and let's say if you paste here, okay, you see all the slashes are the backward slashes. This is something that R will not recognize. So manually you have to convert them into the forward slashes. Everywhere you have to convert them into the forward slash, something like this. So on your Windows system, it will be something like this, C drive, Mac, whatever. Or make sure all the slashes are converted into forward slashes. And then only paste this particular line here. Otherwise, R will not execute that particular command. Now this is how you read and write the CSV file. If you want to read and write the Excel file, I usually use a library which is called OpenXLSX. Now let me just clear all these things here. I'm going to again rerun this particular line so that everything is clear here. To use that particular library, you can type library OpenXLSX. If this library is not installed on your system, okay, I have run that library. If it is not installed on your system, it will throw you an error that library not found, something like that. To solve that error, make sure you install the library first. Okay, and it's a one-time process. How to install? Install.packages, and within that open XLSX. You run this command and the library will be installed. If to know more about how to install the packages, please refer to my R walkthrough videos, which is given in the description of this particular video, the playlist. Go through that. You will understand how to install the library if it is not installed on your system. Now this particular library is on my system, so I can directly use it. How to use this particular library to read the Excel file? Now the same data is stored in Excel format here, which is sample Excel. I am going to copy the folder name and my underscore data read dot xlsx. It shows from which library it is taking this particular function. So open xlsx. So this is what I require. Click on it, put the file name, make sure single quote starts, single quote ends. Within that, put the path as well as the file name and run it. So now it has loaded the data. And whatever the manipulation you want to do, you can do with the data like I have done earlier. I'm directly running these commands which I've already given here. Suppose if I want to now save the CV1. So for that, I need to write dot xlsx. And if you see here, it is from the Open XLSX library. Click on it, look at the syntax. It says what is the object name X and what is the file name. So let's say object name is CV_1 and file along with the path I have to give. So this is the path I can copy from here. On Windows, you can copy the path from the address bar. Make sure that, again, I'm reiterating, the slashes are in the forward direction, not in backward direction, and they are within the quotes, okay? Single quotes or double quotes, whatever, but I prefer single quote here. And then put forward slash here because I have just given the path, not the file name. So for that, I'm going to write Excel, which is write ex.xlsx. In this format, I want to store. Hit Command Enter and see it has stored that CV_1, that data. One problem with this particular library is that it only writes the data frame, the Excel library. So CV_2 is a data frame. How do we know? Just put your cursor over here and it will show you data.frame. Suppose if I have a variable like this, x equals to my underscore data. I'm going to use this particular indexing 1 to 5, comma, first column. Okay. So it's a value. And if I put here x, this will give me result like this, 27, which is not what I want. I want first 5 rows. So it is just giving me the last value of that particular column. So whenever you do not have any data frame, you have to convert that thing into the data frame. And how do you convert this thing into the data frame? Just write here as dot data dot frame, and within that you write this particular line. So now rerun, you will see here x will be converted into data frame. Okay, x data dot frame. Now this is what I want, and run that particular command. Sorry, I need to delete this. Okay. So now if I run it again, you will see it has written all the first 5 rows. And you can later on, there are other options also with the in the due course. I'll tell you how to change the variable name also here, the column name. Right now, the column name is nothing but whatever I have given here, it is taking that, but we can change the column name of the data frame also. So this is how you read the data or load the data into R, if it is given to you in the CSV format or whether it is given to you in the Excel format. And I've also demonstrated how do you write the data in CSV format or Excel format. Just make sure that slashes are always in the forward direction. On Windows system, this is a typical problem where the slashes will be in the backward direction, which are given in this particular address bar. You have to change them to the forward one manually. Thank you.